Hey everyone, excited to jump into our next part of the series of an overview of the Bible. So today we're looking at 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, and Jude. Now these are all very, very short books, and you'll probably predominantly hear most preaching or teaching coming from 1 John. 2 John and 3 John are only a chapter. They're very, very short, and Jude is also extremely short as well. Jude is also one long chapter. So you can go through all of these in one sitting, which is helpful too for context. You can kind of look and see the overarching idea that we're going through. 1 John has about five chapters in it and focuses a lot on love and kind of clearing up some of the muddiness that comes from the early church. So let's jump into it. Also, the author of John is prescribed to be, I just want to make sure I'm saying it right, the Apostle John. So the same guy that wrote the John in the Gospels, right? And so John writes this one as kind of a follow-up. These are letters that he's writing out. So let's jump into it. I'll take my face off the screen, and we will go through our slides here. So again, the setting for this is around the first century. Most of the initial apostles have passed away. A lot of them killed, a lot of them going through some rough places here. And so John is writing this letter, and he's showing kind of the different cycles, going from life to love to truth, showing who we are, what we're supposed to represent. So in 1 John, it's a lot of Jesus being our advocate. The new commandment is what it's prescribed as, which is whoever says he's in the light and hates his brother is still in darkness. So a lot of what we're looking at through John is love. It is how we're supposed to treat others and how we're supposed to interact and who we are as Christians. So again, going through the different cycles within John, the different parts, if you want to call it that. God is light. God is light, and in him is no darkness. Showing what we're supposed to be, who we're supposed to represent, who we're supposed to act like, who is our ultimate example. And 1 John shows that throughout this. Again, God is light, pushing out the darkness. The reality of sin. If we say we have sin, if we have no sin, we deceive ourselves. Again, there's a lot of really strong verbiage in here, a lot of clear cuts about not loving the world, about stepping out, about those that are going to pull us away. The hatred is darkness. These things that call for to be Christ-like, to be Christians, is what John is coming out for on this one. In the end of chapter 2 and throughout this, there's a lot of talk about the Antichrist. And now we might think of this as a person or something at the end times coming out. But John writes this as the spirit of the Antichrist. And what he's referencing a lot is the people who are anti-Christian, who are preaching or teaching, but they aren't teaching the gospel. They aren't teaching that Jesus is the Messiah, the Savior, the person who we are supposed to be, or supposed to look up to, or supposed to emulate. And so Jesus as a man was our ultimate example, but Jesus as God, as the one true God, is what he was talking about when it comes to the spirit of the Antichrist. So denying that God manifested himself in flesh, denying the power and the authority, denying these things. So it says that many will come to us, but are not from us. Because these are the people who are denying Christ, who are denying the deity, the manifestation, the incarnation. One line there, they went out from us, but they were not of us, right? So people who have seen the works, who have been a part of this, but they still deny that core, the essence of what it means to be a Christian, on top of love, on top of kindness, on top of these other things. He goes through and continues to show that God himself is love. This is an interesting idea that we come into. Many people speak about attributes of God, things that he does. But the idea is really kind of simple. John paints a really good picture of this, that God is not someone who shows love. Someone who not shows kindness, shows these things. He doesn't do these things. Like he doesn't make a choice to do these things. And so I'll clarify that a little bit. What I mean by that is God is the essence of love. That he can't help, that essence of kindness, the essence of goodness, of love, of grace, of all these things, that is who he is inherently. And so he doesn't choose to do these things, because with that, what I mean by that is he could choose to not do these things. And so God doesn't have, I don't want to say God doesn't have a choice, right? But God is inherently love itself. God is goodness itself. God is kindness itself. And so love is, and with that for us, when we have those choice, we have, flesh, the things that pull us away, right? Love for us is an action, is a showing. Yes, we show love through our sacrifice, through who we care for what we do. And here, the line that we hear a lot, perfect love casteth out fear. And so true love for Christ, for our fellow brothers, for the people around us, is what we're striving towards. And while God himself is the essence of love, we have to make those conscious choices. We have to put away our self-righteousness, murder, hate, all these different things, because we want to show love. We want to be loved like Christ. And a lot harder for us, right? Because we have our stupid flesh and mindsets and all the preconceived things that we have. So jumping in, that's where we go through in 1 John. 1 John wraps up about overcoming the world, testimony concerning the Son of God, and all these different things. And the very last verse in 1 John says, little children, keep yourselves from idols. It's kind of like a nice little caveat. Oh, by the way, don't look at idols, don't worship idols, don't put these things up, because he's still talking to an early church. So 2 John and 3 John are very interesting. They're letters and they're very short. 2 John is written to, it says, an elder to the elect lady and her children. So we don't necessarily know exactly whom it was written to. We have some ideas, but John's writing about walking in truth and love and just showing the commandments and being careful not to receive those into their house. Don't offer hospitality to those who deny Christ. Again, it's looking at the spirit of the Antichrist. The idea of those, like, why would we show hospitality? Why would we show service to those who are not serving or denying Christ? And keep in mind when I mean hospitality within context here. If you had someone come to you, they would offer them room and board, they would offer them food, they would offer them these things. It's not about just showing or being nice to people. It was about going above and beyond. And so allowing these people to live and be in your home and go through these things, it doesn't mean to accept the things, the lies that people were trying to put out, the anti-Christian, the anti-Jesus mindset. And so for us as Christians, we always want to show kindness and love and grace towards everybody, but that doesn't mean we offer them space and room and board in our house. And so John is writing this to the elect lady. Some people prescribe it as the local church, as just the greater church. It wasn't necessarily a specific person, but the way it's written kind of reads to a specific person. But it's saying not to give room and board to this spirit, to these ideas. Show kindness to others, show love, show grace, do these different things. But don't give them a space. Don't let them hang out, right? And John 3 kind of continues in that. So we look through, and I'm trying to make sure I say it properly, to show support in the opposition. He's writing to specific people. This one's writing, it says, to the elder, to the beloved Gaius, whom I love in truth. So for John 3, writing to a very specific person. And a line in there, like I said, we put on the bottom down here, we demonstrate our theology by who we welcome and who we support. So again, it's about not giving space for these things, not giving a area for people to hang out in. So we go to Jude now. And Jude is written, it says in the very, Jude is servant of Jesus Christ and the brother of James. So the brother of Jesus as well, right? It's interesting that he writes the brother of James in here. And Jude kind of follows in this similar theme as 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John. You get a really good, in verse 4, you get a good idea of what the context of this one chapter letter is about. It says, for certain people have crept in unnoticed, who long ago were designated for the condemnation, ungodly people who pervert the grace of our God and into sensuality and deny our only Master and Lord Jesus Christ. And so Jude again is calling for what John was calling to, for people who were infiltrating the church, people who were coming in and they're denying Jesus. And they're denying it specifically by how they live. Like their words and their actions don't match up. And so Jude is calling for this, a call to preserve, a call to hold on to, a call to keep the faith. And so to contend once delivered is one of the lines. It says to hold on to push back against blasphemy, to especially those who blaspheme against, it says, the glorious one. And Jude is continuing in the writings that First John, Second John, and Third John had as well. And it really is summed up here. It says, "Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling, to present your faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy." And so you see a theme as we go through this. First John is light, love, truth, and hospitality in Second and Third John, and Jude is to contend and to build. But throughout all of this, we're holding on to the same idea of not allowing the things of the world to creep in and not giving it space to live in our lives. So show kindness, show love, show grace, show these things, but don't allow it to creep in and stay in our lives. Because as long as you let that happen, you're giving it a space to speak into your life. You're giving it influence. You're giving it these things. So that's where we wrap up here. First John, Second John, and Third John, and Jude. Very short letters, very easy to get through in one sitting. I thank you again for listening in, and we'll see you again next week.